The first miracle, even me personally, because me, I was not even able to talk, but at the moment I can speak well. That's the first miracle.
In 1987, thousands of soldiers were marching towards the capital city of Uganda. But they were not ordinary soldiers. Before every single battle, they rubbed cooking oil all over their bodies. Not to clean themselves, not for any normal reason. Their leader had told them that the oil would make bullets bounce right off their skin, and every single one of them believed her. Some of them were not carrying guns, they were carrying stones because their leader had told them that in the battle, those stones would turn into grenades, that God himself would transform ordinary rocks into weapons that would destroy whoever stood against them. And at the front of all this was one woman, a 28-year-old woman from a small town in northern Uganda who had never commanded any army in her life before.
With me, I'm a prophet. I was treating a lot of people. And by that time when Museveni took over, they found that I'm called Alice Lakwena.
Her name was Alice Lakwena, and what she did is one of the most unbelievable true stories to ever come out of Africa. If you are a fan of strange, extraordinary but true stories, this is it. This is your channel. Subscribe so that you never ever miss a story. Alice Auma, also known as Alice Lakwena, grew up in Gulu, a town in the north of Uganda. She was a quiet person, nobody special, and nobody famous. Just a young woman living an ordinary life in a part of Uganda that was going through a very difficult time. Uganda in the 1980s was broken. Those were years of war. The people of northern Uganda, especially a group called the Acholi, felt like nobody was protecting them. They felt alone. And when people feel that way, they look for something or someone to believe in. Alice was about to become that person, but not in any way that anyone could have predicted. One day, Alice said something happened to her. She said that a spirit entered her body, not an evil spirit, a spirit itself called Lakwena. In the Acholi language, Lakwena means messenger. She said that this spirit told her that she had been chosen by God, that she had a mission and she needed to lead her people. Now, here is where this story gets strange. Alice said the spirit of Lakwena was not African. She said that it was the spirit of an Italian soldier from World War I, a man who had died at 95 years old and was buried somewhere near a waterfall in northern Uganda. She said that this spirit of the old Italian soldier had crossed the world and had chosen her, a young woman from Gulu, to carry out God's plan. People could have laughed at her. People could have walked away, but they did not. Because the Acholi people were desperate. They were suffering and they needed something to hold on to. And Alice gave them exactly that. Word spread quickly. There is a woman in Gulu who can speak to spirits. There is a woman in Gulu who has answers. People came from the villages all around to listen to her, and what she told them lit a fire inside every single person who heard it. She told them that their suffering had a reason, that it could end, that God had sent a spirit through her to lead them out of the darkness. She called her group the Holy Spirit Mobile Forces, and she told them to get ready. Before anyone could fight, there were rules, very specific rules that the spirit of Lakwena had given her and that every soldier had to follow perfectly. The rules were no killing snakes, no sexual intercourse, no stealing, and they had to face a specific direction during the battle. They had to sing Christian hymns before they fought. And most importantly, in every single battle, they had to rub cooking oil all over their skin. Alice told them that if they followed all the rules and rubbed the oil on their bodies, bullets would not be able to enter them. Guns would be useless against them. They would be completely untouchable, and they all believed her. Men who had actually been in wars before, men who had seen people get shot and die, rubbed the oil on their skin and walked toward the enemy soldiers, believing completely that nothing could kill them, Thousands of people joined, former soldiers, farmers, mothers, young men who had nothing left to lose. All of them united by one belief that Alice Lakwena had been chosen by God and that the oil on their skin would protect them from any bullet ever fired. And then they started marching south. What happened next shocked everyone that was watching. The Holy Spirit mobile forces started winning battles, town by town, district by district. Every time they won, it proved everything that Alice had said. The Spirit was real, the oil was working, and God was on their side. When the soldiers died in battle, Alice always had an answer. She said that those soldiers had broken one of the rules, that they had not rubbed the oil properly. She said that in some way they had committed a sin that had left them unprotected. The rules were the reason for failure and the Spirit was the reason for success. And the army kept moving. By November of 1987, Alice Lakwena and her army had made it all the way to the edge of Jinja, a city that is less than 90 kilometers from Kampala, which is the capital of Uganda. Yes, they were that close, just 90 kilometers. The government officials in Kampala started to panic. Some of them who could leave the country did. Families were sent away. President Museveni, the president of Uganda himself, flew by helicopter to the front lines to see what was happening. The situation was serious, and he knew it. Then came the final battle. The Ugandan army surrounded Alice's forces in the sugarcane fields outside Jinja. The government soldiers had guns. Alice's soldiers had faith, oil, and stones. Well, the stones did not turn into grenades. The oil stopped nothing. Hundreds of the Holy Spirit soldiers died in those sugarcane fields. The men and women who had rubbed oil all over their skin and believed with their whole hearts that bullets could not touch them discovered in the most terrible way possible that they had been wrong. The army that had come within just 90 kilometers of taking over Uganda was now destroyed. Alice Lakwena ran. She did not stay with her soldiers. She did not face what was coming. She got on a bicycle and rode out of Uganda in the middle of the night. She crossed the border into Kenya. She was arrested at the border and put into prison for a time. After her release, she was placed in a refugee camp in Kenya, and that's exactly where she stayed. She did not stay in Uganda, not in leading armies, and not speaking to the spirits anymore. She was in a small refugee camp in another country, far away from home, far from everything that she had built. She died in that refugee camp in January 2007, quiet and forgotten by most of the world. Here is the part of the story that never leaves you. Alice Lakwena had a cousin, a young man who had watched everything she did, who had seen how she used faith to build an army out of ordinary people. He had taken notes. He had his own ideas on how to do it bigger and darker. His name was Joseph Kony. 1 year after Alice fled Uganda on a bicycle, Joseph Kony formed the Lord's Resistance Army. He took everything that Alice had done and made it something far more terrifying. He too claimed to be guided by spirits. He too had rules. He too used belief to control people. But where Alice gathered adults who chose to follow her, Joseph Kony built his army by kidnapping children. 25,000 children were taken from their homes across Uganda, South Sudan, Congo, and the Central African Republic. They were forced into Kony's army. Children who had no choice. Children who had never heard of Alice Lakwena, who had no idea that the man who destroyed their lives had learnt everything he knew from a woman in Gulu who once convinced thousands of people that cooking oil could stop bullets. There are questions about Alice Lakwena that will probably never be answered. Did she truly believe that a spirit was guiding her? Or did she know from the very beginning that what she was telling people was not real? When her soldiers walked into the battle with stones in their hands, did she feel anything? If Alice Lakwena had never raised that army, if she had never convinced those thousands of people to follow her, would Joseph Kony ever have been Joseph Kony? Would those 25,000 children have been spared? Tell us what you think about Alice Lakwena in the comments below, because we read every single one.